They doubted his name. They called him a fraud. They called his team soft, and yet they are national champions. Ryan Day has entered into the elite level as a head coach here in college football. He certainly crashed that party in a year that many counted him out after that Michigan loss.
Man. And you know what? Here's the thing. It's hilarious. You know, a lot of people are saying the winning culture is gone at Ohio State. That they're mercenary you. They're just coming to play for the money. They don't love their head coach. And that narrative is completely false. What I saw after that Michigan loss was this band of brothers playing for the love of their coach, just coming together, one goal in mind. We have one last shot to win all, and they did that, and they did it all for Ryan Day. Now, if you look at where Ryan Day started at Ohio State, you said, yeah, he was
Hey,
handed a Lamborghini, but did he drive it like into the dirt? No, he didn't drive it in the dirt. That's the narrative that people were portraying just because he didn't beat Michigan. But if you look at his overall record before this national championship, he only had 10 losses. Now he's 70-10. He has a national championship, and it took a lot of growing pains to get here. Four straight losses to Michigan, a heartbreaking loss in the semifinal to Georgia. Just a really odd Cotton Bowl loss to Missouri, and then there's that embarrassing loss to Michigan. And even before 2021, you had lost to Clemson in the semifinal, lost to Alabama in the national title game. And then there's that narrative. Can Ryan Day win the big one? And there's one thing that I was really thinking about. And it's just like, okay, he's a young head coach.
mm,
He needs to get the right staff behind him. He needs to get the right staff by him. And let's be honest, promoting Kerry Coombs to defensive coordinator, not a good move. I think it was Matt Barnes, secondary coach, left us high and dry. The
yes.
cupboards were completely bare in the secondary. And just finding the right defensive coordinator, the right linebackers coach, the right offensive coordinator, just everything. And then, all of a sudden, you're hearing names like Chip Kelly, Jim Knowles, although Jim Knowles, it took a while for things to get going, and I'm not completely convinced that that was him. But
Right.
what happened this season, even after the embarrassing loss, that's what happens when you surround yourself with the right people. And I think that you know any other coach would have more than likely folded. But as Zach Smith on Menace to Sports, he always says, hey, like in the midst of chaos, in the midst of uncertainty with the offensive line, with the embarrassing loss to Michigan, the great teams they figure it out. They figure out a way to win and win the championship. That's what Ohio State did.
Well, like you said, man, there were some growing pains, there were some struggles, there were some learning experiences that Ryan Day, as a young head coach and a brand new head coach, had to go through. These are fiery trials that every coach goes through, every coach experiences, and every one of these moments taught him how to best be a head coach, and how to improve, and how to deal with adversity, how to handle these conflicts. They had that team meeting that bound that team together after the Michigan loss, and they decided we're going to go for it all. Like, that was a moment where the team could have totally caved, could have given in, given up on the season. They weren't going to the Big Ten championship. Yes, they were hosting a game versus Tennessee, but man, nobody expected them to beat Oregon after that
Nayland
Michigan
North,
loss.
man.
Nayland North, their takeover was big time. That ticked them off too, I'm sure. But that's the thing, man. Like, as you were saying, like, how many coaches have been handed this Lamborghini, this Ferrari, and been able to not only keep it going, but in some ways improve it? Because I think the culture is strong, the brotherhood is strong. You know, we've seen Lincoln Riley fall off at Oklahoma. We've seen Larry Coker at Miami. We've seen many other coaches take over and not be able to maintain what was the standard at Ohio State, and it was a high standard that Urban Meyer set. Let's be real about it. And outside of the Michigan game, he hasn't let Ohio State or Buckeye Nation down, in my opinion. And I really think he's entered that elite tier, bro.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Urban Meyer because here's the thing that people remember about Urban Meyer, and this is what differentiates him between Ryan Day. As we
Hmm.
all remember, after the championship season 2014, Urban Meyer at least lost like one game per season that shouldn't have happened. I mean, I was at that Michigan State game in 2015.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have lost that. Uh 2016 shouldn't have lost to Penn State. 2017 sure as heck shouldn't have lost to Iowa after you
yeah,
had an amazing comeback against Penn State. And then 2018 should not have lost to got blasted by Purdue.
yeah.
But all was forgiven when they beat Michigan. But here's Ryan Day. He's beating all the teams he needed to. Had one loss currently against an unranked team, so happened to beat Michigan, but he's beating all these teams he's supposed to. And just like, okay, let everything come together for Ryan Day and you'll see what happens. And that's what happened. A national championship happened. I mean, he improved his top 5 record, top 10 record, playoff wins, just in all aspect. The dude is 70-10 and a national championship coach. You
Yep.
can't ask anything better than that. And here's the other thing. Again,
Mm.
Urban Meyer lost games he wasn't supposed to. Ryan Day lost the games that were just like they were competitive for top ranked teams. I mean, as terrible as this sounds, I rather lose to a top ranked Michigan like they did the last 3 years. I mean, not this year, obviously, but to get blasted by Purdue and Iowa and keep us out of the playoffs and stuff, but all is well, just because you beat Michigan, that didn't sit well with me. So it's just like Ryan Day's confidence is at an all time high. He finally brought it together. And
Mm.
all those saying, "Oh, Jim Knowles," and now Justin Fry. I trust Ryan Day's hires. He brought in Jim Knowles. He brought in Justin Fry. He's going to continue to grow and flourish in that environment. Continue to set or exceed the Ohio State standard. And his confidence is going to be an all time high going into the 2025 season.
Well, that's two things. You saw how much these players love the coaches, how much, especially Jack Sawyer was close to Ryan Day in that post game interview. Just came up and bear hugged him, and I mean, like the love for that man at Ryan Day. They wanted this for Ryan Day, and I saw some clips on Instagram too of everybody saying right to Ryan Day's face, "What are they gonna say now, Coach? What are they gonna go say now?" You know, and just like everybody wanted this so badly for Ryan Day, and he held this team together in its weak moments, in its dark moments where it could have all fallen apart. And like you said, man, he's got a winning record versus top 5 teams now, a winning record versus top 10 teams. What more can you ask for? Like, yeah, I do want to beat Michigan, and I expect to beat Michigan this coming season. Um, but when it's 70-10, you got national championship, bro. You can't look at anything else and say, well, what he needs to do more. Like you won the title. You won the title. You brought home the ship to Columbus, and we're excited about that here in Buckeye Nation. But good things, bright things are ahead. But the next stage of learning, the other thing I want to pinpoint here is what you brought up. Now, because they are winning at even more at elite level, his staff is getting plucked, and so now is the next level. Saban had to deal with it. Meyer had to deal with it throughout his tenure. Every year, it seemed like we were hiring some top assistant under Urban Meyer, and now that same thing might start to happen under Ryan Day because we're winning at such an elite clip.
Yeah, and no, if anybody wants to continue Ryan Day produces a toxic culture, please
Oof.
keep doing so, just so like Ohio State can show otherwise. These players clearly love Ryan Day. These players
Oh yeah.
clearly want to play for Ohio State. Money, it's just a part of the game now, dude. It's a new era of college football. NIL is here to stay, but
Yeah.
a lot of these players, they come for both, and that's okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's it, man. Ryan Day, top tier coach. Hate him if you want to, but that's where he is because he's earned it. He's garnered his place among the best college football coaches today, coaching today.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. That's gonna do it for us today on Buckeyes Battle Cry. Have go Bucks and God
OH.
bless. IO.